Yes. Well, this evening, my topic is, we are all Grenadian soldiers in the social and political battlefield, regardless of our age. This is me, Hudson George, this evening. That's my topic. So, regardless of your age, once you have your mental capacity together, as citizen of Grenada, you have the right to express yourself regardless of your age, because living alone is, you got to be a soldier to live. Every citizen is a soldier, and you have to live within the social and political structure and culture of change. So when the younger people are saying it's their time, no, it's all of us time. It's all of us time. Once you're alive, you have a right to participate in everything in Grenada. The politics, the culture, the food, the music, whatever. But we must respect generation gap. Even though there is something called the generation gap. So there is this kind of a mantra these days around some young people where they like to say that is young people time, and the population is under what? Is under 50 or under 55. I hear in this kind of mantra. Well, tell me which country in the world you know that the population, the majority of people, are not younger than the older. Only in countries where you could say, well, people neglect the land, the young people neglect the land and they run away. And then only older adults remain on the land. But in every country, you will find the percentage of younger people than people are over 50 and up. Because every 10 years, people move to our next decade in their life. So if the Grenada population is 48 and under, is more than 48 and over, it's common reasoning, and it's not only in Grenada, it's all over the world. But that doesn't mean because you have a bigger population in the age of 30s, 40s, and you say, yeah, 30s and 40s, that doesn't mean if you over 50, you're irrelevant. That's nonsense. In industrialized countries, you have migrants. So you go have an immigrant population. For example, I'm living in Canada. The Canadian government over the years take over a million people. Right? So you have a fast immigrant population. But in places like Grenada or other Caribbean countries, you will find a more youthful homegrown population, or a population 50 and under more than 50 and over, which is common sense. Because 50 and over, you will find in a normal society, you will find more people as they get older, they pass beyond. So, with this this political matter about if you're older, or if you're 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, you know really relevant, that's nonsense. The majority of leaders in the world is not in the 30s. Only in some African countries, you have some very old leaders, and you have some pretty young ones. And the reason why you have the young ones and the old ones in those African countries is that in Africa, you have dictators. So if a young boy was able to overthrow a dictator, and he do it when he in his 30s, then you go find some young guys ruling. And then you go have some old dictators who, if they were not overthrown by them young boys, they're there forever. But we living in a Westminster organized democracy. So when a certain young people saying, oh, the politics is at a particular age, that is not relevant. Because in Westminster system of government, you need people with experience. People who know what been through the political system. So if you you're a citizen of Grenada, regardless of your age, once you reach 18 years, or you could have 99 years, 100 years, we are all in the social and political battlefield. Yeah, because we got to survive. When the cost of living go up, we feel it. Right? If there is a disaster, we all feel it. So to say people at a older age, 50 and over, are irrelevant, that's nonsense. We all in the game together, man. We all in the game because the other day I was reading a thing and they say in Nigeria, in the 1980s, the government, they banned history. They banned history. They was not teaching history in school. So this is why when you go out there, you meet a lot of Nigerians. They're very educated, but they don't know. They have no historical idea. No historical idea of anything, but they're highly educated people. And if you don't know history and you don't know geography, you're missing something in your life. So to say A young man in his 40s or a young woman in her 40s and 30s might say, oh, now is my time to rule. But you have no historical data of the past. So how is your time to rule? You're still in the stage of dealing with what is the popular culture at the moment. You're not seasoned. So how can you say it's your time to rule? And even countries where in the past where young guys seized power in revolution and they didn't get overthrown, they ruled for years up to old age. And they didn't give up power. For example, Fidel Castro seized power in Cuba when he was young. He was still like what you would say a youth, in the youthful years. And he ruled Cuba until he wrinkled before he died. And most likely, he didn't never stop rule Cuba. He gave his brother Cuba to rule. Right? So, behind the scene, maybe he ruling still. That's one. Now, Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi came to power in Libya when he was young. And he died in an invasion. The American and NATO countries invaded him and they killed him. During the Obama time in office and Sarkozy in France and other European countries. And when they killed Gaddafi, he was not a young boy again. He was up there in age too. So this thing in Grenada where they're talking about politics is young people thing. Young people don't know no politics. Young people don't know politics. Young people learning politics. And young people in politics usually occur when there is a revolution. We don't have a revolution in Grenada to say you are young people politics. You are politics because people vote. But if you want to have young people politics, and you feel we are not all of us in the social and political battlefield because of our age differences. Well, pass a law in parliament and say people over 50 shouldn't vote. Yeah? As long as you cannot pass a law and say people over 55 or people 60 years and over shouldn't vote. You can't be saying that politics is for a particular age of people. The leader of China is not in his 40s. The leader in America presently is about 80 years. The leader in Brazil is old too. He's up there in age. So when this matter come about politics is 55 or over, you have nothing to offer. What kind of thing is that? What kind of politics? We are on the social and political battlefield together. Now, another thing again. When I talk about social come with culture. Will you tell an elder soccer artist he can participate in soccer monarch? Like I remember Rankin Marvin said that in, I think was I wonder if it was during the independence carnival preliminaries or in carnival. But one of those shows they had this year, the musicians speed up the music on him. So if Rankin Marvin is correct, most likely they speed up the music on him because they feel he was old. Where else in the Caribbean you hear this nonsense that's going? Where I got this mantra that Grenada belongs to people from a particular age come down? From a baby at no born to up to maybe somebody 55 years. That's craziness, man. We got to think better than that nonsense. Because most of you in your 40s and 50s, you don't know nothing. Yeah, you might be in the majority, yes, but you don't know a lot. You need to learn from the elders. Because we experiment with revolution, and revolution usually take place if young people make revolution. But young people, when they make revolution, they make a lot of mistakes, and sometimes they destroy their own revolution. And if they succeed with the revolution, when they get older, they say, okay, we make some mistake, we kill some people, we do this and we do that. For example, the PRG people, they kill a lot of people during the time in office. People they shouldn't kill, they kill. And some of them still want to come back, talking about they're making new movement and some into other aspect of politics. Their average age is 60-something years. Another thing again too. You have some Grenadians in the diaspora. Well, I don't belong to no political chapter in diaspora. I never been. I never belongs to a political chapter. So, if you're living in Toronto as a Grenadian, persons who belong to political chapter, specifically the ruling party at time, they know you're living in Toronto. So if you go social media and you say something, and it is not in favor of the party, they want to pick a social media fight with you. Or when they meet you, they behave like fisherman in the market that's selling fish. You understand? They always want to pick a confusion at you. You understand? Now, when I say we are all in the battlefield together, I've seen on social media, again, they say some guy what was somewhat, he was a senator in government, he died and they say, doctors say, most likely he was poisoned. I doesn't say things where people could sue me. I'm talking about I see in the news. Now, okay. Nobody don't been arrested, so we don't know how this person died. But on social media, people talking about different things must happen. But you have some Grenadians in Toronto who just threaten people. They're threatening people. So if you're in Toronto and you're threatening people for the political views, I don't know what happened in Grenada, you see. As I said, me is not the kind of person who does just go on social media and say things like that. As I tell you, I understand the rules of journalism, but they're just saying little things here and there. So anyway, we are all in the social and political battlefield, regardless of our age, because so when I say social, social comes from society. Politics is governance. And once you are alive, you are part of that. Whether you're blind, you mute, or you're deaf, or you're on a wheelchair, or if you're in a retirement home, you're part of that battlefield still. So when people talking, are they talking nonsense? Grenada belongs to all of us. And going back to the person I saw on the social media, somebody, they said most likely some foul play with that individual who died. And I see they put a photo of another lady too. Perhaps they suspect something they play too. So, but if you look at Grenada history, persons threatening you for your political views, whether they're doing it to scare you, or whether they're doing it willingly. I'm talking about experience. I personally, a Grenadian fella in Toronto threatened me once too. First time I smile, the second time I smile, the third time when he see my face, he realize the fourth time he offer me a drink. I say, I don't want your drink, man. So you see, as long as you're living on this planet Earth, and you belong to a country, a citizen, whether you're in a tribe, you're in a battlefield, a social and political battlefield. And if you join church, you're in a battlefield still. Or if you choose not to participate, you're still in a battlefield. Because in this time we're living in now, nobody can live in isolation. Now, I just go and travel up in the outside of Canada from the big city where the Mennonites live. The other day I was last week I was up way up in a place called Mount Forest where the Mennonites live, and I bought 10 nice ripe big tomatoes for $2. So even though the Mennonites say they're hiding away from Babylon, you still could go and buy stuff from them, and they live in simple life. They live off the land. So they're part of the social and political battlefield, regardless of the social construct of the way they live or the religious way of living. So I make that little live, and one go to Facebook and one go to YouTube. Now the one I go to YouTube will be there forever. But Facebook doesn't keep the live on them for too long. But I put that one on Facebook and the other one go to YouTube. So whenever this one is not on Facebook again, it's still on YouTube. So you will be always on YouTube because YouTube seems to be the better medium for saving your work. It don't go into no memory for a year you could see it. So all this nonsense, people talking politically, they don't know what they're saying. They don't know what they're saying, you know. And historically, Grenada, we should learn from the past. We should learn from the past, not in its static. So don't think because you're at a particular age, Grenada is yours. No. Once you're 18 years, you could vote. And if you're 110 years, you could still go and vote. And the same people are saying Grenada is for a certain people at a certain age. And other people run all the time. I'm sure next election, if they know they could get a vote from some old great-grandma or great-grandpa, they will get a taxi or a car or some transportation to bring them up and vote. Because an old person vote is still relevant, whether they're in a nursing home or in their own home. So anyway, we are all in that battlefield together. Culturally, economically, politically. And instead of we planning ways to kill one another, but we don't have a place to bury we dead in Grenada. And Grenada full of wasteland, you know. The traditional colonial churches refusing to bury people. They're saying if you don't come to church, you can't get burial. Government don't creating place to bury people. But they're making shine for Maurice Bishop. But they won't create new burial ground for citizens to bury their dead, you know. Right? And they won't tell the church, look man, you got to take the dead bodies, man. Whether people come to church or not. Right? Government, they go do that. These is things you guys have to study instead of trying to kill one another for politics. Because at the end of the day, we all go dead. Regardless of our age or our political views, if it's yellow, if it's green, whatever it is, or if you doesn't vote, or you don't involve in politics. Anyway, this is me, Hudson George. I gone. I say what I have to say already. We are in the battlefield, man. We are in the battlefield. Social and political battlefield. Fearless. My motto is fearless, but not careless. I gone till I come again.